Alright, we should have covered everything in the recent module. Do any of you have any questions regarding the material before you finish the paper? Ah, yes. What is your question? We've covered that in last week's overview, as well as in the review portion of today's lecture. You should have been taking notes if you were going to ask questions that could have been answered by referring to those notes. Any other questions? No? Alright. You may begin. I'll be coming around to check on your papers throughout the remaining class period. You should refer to pages 501 and 230 before continuing on this paragraph. I'm putting quotes as references. Be sure not to overly rely on the specific dates. Yes, the dates are important, but what's more important are the overall trends of history. Be sure to keep that in mind as you're writing. You're very distracted today, darling. Is there anything in particular that's distracting you? Is it that my class is just too boring for you? I could always give my favorite girl extra hard work so you can challenge yourself. Or maybe you remember that today you were helping me after class. Oh, is that the reason? It is, isn't it, darling? Don't worry. I'll make sure to give you extra credit for your time. This couldn't have been resolved in another quarter. Oh, I'm sorry. I was lost in some papers. Are you ready to help me with some extra credit work, darling? No. How about we start with you telling me about your recent class? I've noticed that your grades are a little lower than normal. Are you alright, darling? You know you can talk to me about anything. I thought after our conversation last week in my office that you would start paying attention more in class. I thought I gave you plenty of positive reinforcement in my office and in the library, and after school hours were finished. You're not distracted by me? Then can I ask what's taken my darling's attention off of me? It must have been something big if it can stop your pretty little head from daydreaming about me every chance it gets. The upcoming test? Oh, my poor darling. Come here. I've told you this plenty of times, but it seems like my pretty girl needs to be reminded of how smart you are. What's the first thing I told you when you came into my office last week? That's right. You have so much potential in that pretty little head of yours that it makes my job very difficult. Well, you see, your work is always deserving of high marks, and you're easily at the top of most of your classes. But I know you can do better. So, when I have to grade any of your work, it's incredibly difficult for me. Don't make me kiss you, darling. If you don't stop talking down about yourself in that way, I will have to resort to shutting you up myself. Now, we have strayed away from today's actual purpose of you staying late. Come follow me. I've been needing your help organizing these files relating to the current modules we're covering in the history and literature departments. I know it's boring, but I'll make sure you get a reward after. That's the last one over there. I think this should help the organization during test week. Plus, that means I'll have extra time to help my darling study. You think I would let you struggle through this test by yourself? Silly girl. It's my job as your professor to make sure all my students do their best. And I happen to have a personal reason to help you. Now, darling, do you think you're able to study for me and be my smart girl again? That's what I thought, pretty. Now I think you have an essay to finish. Isn't that right? I see you later, I promise. I'm not done with you yet. We just can't be caught on campus like this. How about dinner in the city? Yes, like a date. A true, proper date that you deserve. What do you say? I'll pick you up later, darling. You better have studied at least half of the material by the time I come pick you up.